If you genuinely love what you do, why slow down? At PureVest, our goal is never to convince people to retire, especially when they love what they do. Our goal is to help people get to the point where work becomes optional, and then the decision to keep working or not working is completely on their terms and completely up to them. That's financial freedom, and that's always what our goal is. Today's video is based on a conversation I recently had with some of my clients. Tweaked some of the information slightly for privacy, but the planning process and the conversations were real. So let's take a look at their situation. He's 66, she's 69 years old. They're both still working. He's a dentist. Again, he loves what he does. She still works as well, and they have absolutely no plans of slowing down. I love that because I always say I'm someone that never plans to stop working. They don't either. So the question wasn't when will they be able to retire? They want to keep working, but I felt it was important to sit down and at least run through the process and the math and realize, can you retire if you wanted to? Or if one day you wake up in the future and say, you know what? We don't want to work anymore. And if they were at the point where work could now be optional, what planning should they be doing going forward? It's never, well, I'm not going to stop working. I plan to work forever, so I'll just forget about my money and keep grinding. And I'm going to run you through the process of what we did. First thing we did was go through and gather all their information, everything that was relevant. So again, he's 66 years old. He's turning 67 in October. She's 69 years old. Right now they have right about 1.4 million in pre-tax accounts. So again, that's money that they got tax deductions on when they invested it. Eventually, it has to come out of the accounts. They're going to be paying income tax. They have 1.4 million of pre-tax money. They also had $165,000 sitting in their savings accounts from just working and putting money away and accumulating over time. They had close to about 1.6 million in assets, 1.4 million invested, 165 in the bank. As I always say, everyone should run through the process of working on your monthly expenses. How much money do you need to spend every single month to maintain your lifestyle? And they ran through the exercise. They came up with the fact that after taxes, they're spending about $9,100 a month. And again, if they stop working tomorrow, they want to live the exact same way. So we used $9,100 spending. Again, they're both working. Now, his wife is collecting Social Security. She's getting $1,500 a month. The husband is not collecting Social Security yet, because as you know, until you hit your full retirement age, for him is October, if you continue to work, your benefits are going to be reduced based on your income. He's projected to get $2,700 a month, and we thought it was smart to wait till October. So you continue working full time. Sure, the benefits, a portion of it will be taxable, but you working will not reduce the benefits that you're getting. He didn't want to wait till 70. He said, if I could collect the money, let me start taking it. But I thought instead of taking it now in the summer, wait a couple of months so you could continue to work and not worry about it. So these are all the facts that we went over. And then we want to look at the numbers. So they need $109,200 after tax. That's $9,100 a month times 12. They'll be getting $50,400 from Social Security. She's getting $1,500 now. He hits his full retirement age in October, which he will then collect $2,700. So that'll be a total of $50,400 of fixed income. One thing that's important to point out is you can see that the fixed money they have coming in from Social Security that they can rely on is just under 50% of their total spending. That's healthy. That's a good point. If you have, let's say, only 15 or 20% of the amount of money you need to spend every month coming from your fixed sources, you rely much more on the portfolio. But in their situation, they were in a good spot. They have no mortgage, and almost half the money that they need to live every single month is going to be rolling in from Social Security automatically, which left them right about roughly $60,000 that they need to withdraw from their portfolio, $5,000 a month. And again, this is after tax, that they could maintain their lifestyle and live the exact same way. So we did 60,000 divided their 1.4 million that they have in the market is a 4.3% withdrawal rate. Again, it's higher because we backed out the numbers and figured out how much they actually have to take out of their IRA so they could get a net of $60,000. And it's not about the 4% rule, it's just knowing that 4.3%, in my opinion, at 68 years old, average age, is more than conservative on a portfolio withdrawal number. So this told me that they're at the level now where work is optional. The kicker, we didn't even talk about or factor in on the withdrawals the $165,000 that they had in the bank. We'll call that their emergency fund. We left that out of the equation. So the reality is, if they wanted to retire today and not even factor in a Social Security in October, they have even more than the 1.4 that they could draw on. But we knew when we ran through these numbers that they were able to either stop working if they wanted to, or continue to work on their terms, which is what they wanted to do. And that's what we help people do. Get to this point where you now have financial freedom. And even though they wanted to keep working, you could imagine how it felt for them knowing, hey, you know what? We don't have to work anymore because we've saved diligently, we have a nice amount of assets, we have our Social Security that's rolling in, and we're still withdrawing a small percentage, again, after, before taxes, up around 5%, but that's still nothing too aggressive for their age. Now, a lot of people think the conversation in the meeting would end right there. Hey, you're good, you can retire if you wanted to, but go ahead and keep working. But that's where a lot of planning questions come into play. This is where we could really try to maximize what you've built over the past 40 years of saving. So there's a few things that we went over and that we're gonna work on and plan for over the next 6 months. And there'll probably be other ones that come up as well, but just to give you a quick rundown of someone in this situation, if you're in this position right now and you wanna know certain things that you should be thinking about, we spoke about Roth conversions. Their goal, they have 2 kids, is to leave their money to their kids. They don't need the income now. They're not gonna stop working. So we thought it was good to start moving some of that pre-tax money, pay the taxes now, of course, don't bump them to a higher bracket, into a Roth account. So then if they continue working for the next decade and that money continues to compound and continues to grow, maybe they work until they die, which would be great also. That money will pass on to their kids tax-free. What it will also do in a couple of years when they hit 73 is it will lower the amount of required minimum distributions that they have to take, right? Because at 73, you have to start taking money out of your IRA for tax purposes and pay tax on it because it was tax-deferred money. So what would happen if you don't do Roth conversions for the next couple of years? You have a higher value in your account, your RMD is more, you're taking income that you need and paying taxes maybe unnecessarily. So we want to control when we're going to pay those taxes. So we said let's work on doing some Roth conversions. Gifting. They want to, their kids are in their upper 20s now, starting their lives, be getting married, buying houses, and I see more and more clients starting to gift money to their kids when they're in their 60s and 70s, as opposed to just when I eventually pass away, my kids will get their money. Because it's a lot more helpful for kids when they're starting their lives to get an influx of money. So we spoke about gifting money to their kids. Stay invested, stay the course, let that money grow and let that money compound. You don't need to go ultra conservative right now. On top of that, one of the big things that I'll be stressing, take more vacations. Wife wants to travel, husband loves to work, but we think it's important to enjoy the money that you've built and that you've accumulated over time. So keep working, but make sure you take time for yourself and go on some more vacations. This is not everything, and this is not the whole list, and your situation might be different. This is just kind of a walkthrough of how we approach client relationships and conversations, and we want to gather the facts, come up with a plan for them, and then give them some actionable ideas or things that we can do going forward. One more thing I didn't put on the board, but to mention the $165,000 they have in cash, we don't want that just sitting in a savings account. So we're also going to be going over some other options of what they could do with that money. Probably be in treasury bonds or high yield savings account, something so it's on the sidelines if they ever need it, but it's not just sitting there doing absolutely nothing. So again, $1.4 million for this couple made work completely optional. And it's no longer about they need to work, it's do I want to work, but knowing in the back of their mind that they don't have to. And they're also able to now do some good things and some cool things with their money for their kids and their family at this stage of their life.